What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. So check it out. I've been reading some of the comments on my videos that you guys post. And some of y'all are saying, oh, man, DA, you too negative, bro. You're too negative, man. Say something positive for a change. All right. And I get that. Hollywood, however, is what I discuss. And Hollywood is not in a positive place at all. OK, it's hard to be positive about Hollywood. But I will say something positive about this film right here. OK, Little Mermaid had a good start. OK, $10 million in Thursday night previews. That's solid. All right. And then you got a $38 million Friday, and it's looking like it's going to be a $105 million 3-day weekend or a $125 million 4-day weekend, okay? Solid numbers, not great, okay? Not amazing, not outstanding. These are solid numbers, good numbers, all right? It's a good start for this thing, okay? But we got to see how the rest of the weekend will play out. Obviously, these are just early projections, and we don't know what's going to happen. It could go up, it could go down, so we'll have to see. But even if we go with this 125 million, let's just say that's the number, okay? That's where this thing is going to end up at the end of Monday, all right? It's still going to need good word of mouth to get across the finish line because this thing has a humongous $250 million budget, which means worldwide it needs to land somewhere in the $800 million range, all right? So this thing is not out of the woods just because it had a big weekend. Oh, it's a success. Everybody loves it. Nah, it's still got to get to that $800 million mark in order for it to make its money back. So word of mouth is going to be key, okay? This film will need to be seen by people who are on the fence, okay? People who are kind of enticed or whatever, maybe want to see it, but they're still sitting on the fence, all right? So they're going to need word of mouth to get their butts into the theaters, all right? It's also going to need some repeat traffic, okay? Heavy repeat traffic is going to be a key, all right? People coming back and sitting in the theaters again because they loved it so much. So we're about to sit in that theater again for another 2 hours and 15 minutes plus trailers surrounded by a bunch of little kids. Yeah, y'all can count me all the way out of that, right? But Leah, let's check on the word of mouth. Let's see what it's looking like so far. So we saw the Rotten Tomato scores yesterday, 67%. So it's actually coming down in the critical review, all right? It's dropping down a little bit, all right? And then, of course, with the audience scores, okay, we already know all audience is where we should actually look at, 50%. So it's up a little bit from yesterday, okay? Yesterday was at 44%. This thing has been yo-yoing up and down all day long, all right? The top critics are still sitting at about 47%. So, yeah, word of mouth, right in, as far as I'm concerned, is shaky, all right? You can say that some people are like, oh, the verified audience loved it, all right? So did all critics. Everybody's kind of giving it the ultimate positive score, all right? And, again, when you look at it just on the surface, this might be enough to say, all right, most people are liking this. Let's go ahead and check it out, all right? But there's another item that we should check out when it comes to word of mouth, and that's IMDb. Now, here's the IMDb rating. As you can see, Little Mermaid clocking in at a 7.0 out of 10, all right? But you guys already know how IMDb gets down, okay? These guys have this weighted average thing, right? You can see it right here. They gave you the little disclaimer. Unusual activity. Our rating mechanism has detected unusual voting activity on this title. To preserve the reliability of our rating system, an alternate weighting calculation has been applied. So what are they talking about? Well, if you scroll down here, you can see, like, wait a minute, this thing is getting absolutely destroyed. All these doggone ones, man. Are you telling me that this thing is still a 7? Well, actually, right here, you can see 4.3, all right? That's the unweighted mean, okay? That's the real score, according to all of the votes and all of the tallies and scores that have been drummed up right here, okay? But IMDb says, oh, it's unusual activity, because everybody's hating on this thing. People are giving it a 1, okay? Almost 50% of these votes are 1s, all right? So they call that unusual activity. It can't be, no, the movie is trash and garbage. Nope, it's just unusual activity. So we're going to go ahead and apply a different standard in order to rate this thing. And that's how you get to the 7.0. Now, it does tell you a little bit about it. The IMDb rating, the rating is weighted to help keep it reliable. Learn more. So let's click that. So here's what they're doing, right? Weighted average ratings, right? So it says IMDb publishes weighted vote averages rather than the raw data, right? So the weighted is the 7, the raw data is that 4.3. The simplest way to explain it is that although we accept and consider all votes received by users, not all votes have the same impact or weight on the final rating. When unusual voting activity is detected, an alternate weighting calculation may be applied in order to preserve the reliability of our system. To ensure that our rating mechanism remains effective, we do not disclose the exact method used to generate the rating, which basically means they can make it up if they want to, okay? They can make up this entire trash if they want to. See what they're saying right here is this number right here is too low. This is too low due to unusual activity, right? Yeah, so we got to come up with some cockamamie bullshit number, okay, that make the folks in Disney smile, okay? That's basically what we got to do, all right? Because, yeah, people are coming in and dunking all over this damn movie, all right, with this 1-star rating. Right, now, listen, it's really easy to figure out all of this shit, okay, and try to figure out exactly what their little calculations are, all right? It's actually not that hard. Let me show you guys this. So look, this is just a simple spreadsheet I put together in Excel, all right? And you can see basically you have the ratings, okay, 1 through 10, all right? The votes, all right, which they have over here, all right? They give you the vote totals right here and say how many votes each of these things had, all right? 731, 731, 782, and so on, all right? I'm just going to go ahead and take those numbers. That's what they gave us, all right? So we got that, and then when you multiply this plus this, you get a total, all right? So we had 1,710 votes. We got a total of 17,000 points, and so on and so forth, all right? And then if you do the math, all right, there's a little equation. You can pop it in yourself if you want to try this at home. But you get the unweighted mean, and you can see if you add all of this stuff up, okay, the unweighted mean would be 4.29, or, you know, again, if you just round it up, you got 4.3, okay? That's how to get the unweighted mean, okay? That's what that is, right? So the question is, how did they get to the 7, all right? Well, let's just say, for the sake of argument, you just took out the 1 vote. What are you looking at? Oh, it's a 7.3, all right? You got a 7.3 if you take out the 1 votes, all right? So that tells me, right, that they did something to the 1 votes, okay? They fucked with the 1 votes. That's basically what it means, all right? Because, again, it's looking like a 7.3. Now, in my opinion, they probably didn't eliminate the 1 votes altogether and just round down or whatever, okay? They probably didn't do that. In all likelihood, I think they probably took a percent average of how many 1 votes generally will show up in your average IMDb rating, something like that, okay? They just said, okay, we're just going to go with, like, let's say 10%, all right? So let's say you took this number and said, okay, 10% of 4,900, 490, 490, that gives you 6.8, all right? And then they could have rounded that up, okay? Or something like that, you know, some kind of arbitrary system to say, okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to just run with that number, all right? But again, clearly, they fucked with the 1 votes, okay? And that's all it is, okay? Because they don't want Disney mad, all right? That's all this stuff is, okay? They just don't want Disney upset at them, all right? Because we're giving bad scores on IMDb and Little Mermaid is showing up as a 4.3, all right? That's the last thing that these cats want to do, all right? And let's be honest, they're basically trying to scare you off, right? They're just trying to make your reviews worthless. That's all it is that they want to do, right? They don't want you guys coming in here and figuring it out either, all right? That's why they say we're not going to tell you the exact method, all right? Because they know, oh, okay, if they knew that basically everything was we're just going to eliminate the 1 votes or we're going to fuck with the 1 votes, all right, then everybody start voting 2, all right? Everybody give it a 2. Then they're like, oh, shit, now we got to readjust our method. All right. So they don't want to tell you that all they're doing is just messing with these 1s because you guys are going to keep putting all of these things into 1s. And then they're just going to say, hey, we're just eliminating the 1s or we're severely handicapping them, maybe to the tune of 5 to 10% of the 1s. OK, that's all they're doing. All right. And the point of this is just to silence you. OK, to silence your opinion. They don't like you having an opinion about this crap. That's why YouTube disabled the dislike button because they don't want people downvoting all this crap. All right. You got Rotten Tomatoes, right? You know, presenting this nice, clean face. OK, all of this positive stuff on the surface. All right. But then, you know, of course, you got to click it. And here's all the maggots and the worms and everything underneath the rock. Right. You got to lift up the rock and pull it like, oh, wow, this is nasty. You know, that's how they're doing it. And then, of course, you got IMDb. All right. Now, you guys already know how I feel about review bombing. OK, I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. All right. Once again, if you don't like a film, okay, for whatever reason, all right, you don't like soulless cash grabs, you don't like race swaps, you don't like Aquafina's annoying ass rapping the scuttlebutt, okay, you don't want to see that crap, you want to make your feelings known, but you don't want to go and watch the film and give Disney any more of your money, all right, because these guys have no respect for the customer whatsoever, all right. Because you don't want to do that, but you want your voice heard. Oh, I don't have a problem with you downvoting stuff. Okay, coming here and saying, oh, this is trash. I'm not going to give it a dime. All right. I want to make my feelings known, but I'm not going to see this trash. Hell no. I don't have a problem with that. I think that is a legitimate form of criticism and complaints. I see it as no different than somebody who didn't go to see it and gave it a perfect 10. All right. Look, I guarantee you amongst this 1,700 right here, oh, there's plenty of people that didn't see this thing and are just review boosting. We've talked about review boosting constantly on here, but nobody ever brings that up. And I guarantee you they didn't try to scrub those reviews out of here whatsoever. So, you know, again, it's just disingenuous trash. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's diminish the real score. Let's hide the real score and give this thing a 7. Okay, so Disney can feel good about themselves. All right. And you know what's crazy is Hollywood should want to see this kind of information, right? You would think Hollywood would want to know. It's like, oh, damn, like 50% of the people are saying that this thing is trash. Even though it's a review bombing, 50% of the people are basically saying that we're not coming to watch this. All right. Or we think this is garbage and this is terrible. You think you would want to know that. All right. Like, these are potential customers that you're basically have already pissed off, right? Wouldn't you want to know as a company, man, you know, we're not on the right track. What we're doing is pissing people off. Okay. Yeah, sure, it might just be a vocal minority of nerds or whatever, but maybe it's not a vocal minority of nerds, all right? You know, maybe I should listen to these guys because nerds spend money, right? We drop money on things heavy. Like for me, I would want to know what the general public has to say about what we're doing, okay? Because the general public is going to be my #1 customer for a film like this, all right? This ain't some hoity-toity Oscar bait movie with a little budget, okay? This is a $250 million budget. You need to crack $800 million in the box office just to break even. You need as many butts and seats as you can get. Okay? I'm trying to appeal to everybody. The widest net possible. I'm casting that sucker out there because I'm trying to catch everybody. So if I got the numbers like this, like, damn, man, most people are saying this is trash. I would want to see this and pay attention to this and be cognizant of it. Okay? And quit trying to hide it. I wouldn't want to hide this number. Like, trust me, I get it. Hollywood is very sensitive about this stuff, all right? But you can't afford to be a pretentious jackass when it comes to making $800 million, okay? If you was doing some small little art house cinema, yeah, you could do whatever you want to do, okay? But at the end of the day, this has got to be a big film. This is supposed to be like one of the biggest films of the year, all right? You would think, again, we've given it the widest release possible. I want as much wide appeal as I could possibly get for this film, all right? That's the way I would think, all right? And speaking of worldwide mass appeal, get a load of this headline on Bounding in the Comics. The Little Mermaid. Chinese state-run media warns Disney to stop pushing racism narrative around fairy tales or they will lose their magic glory. Look, I already told y'all that China wasn't going to give this movie the time of day, okay? I already told y'all that, but now they're not just giving it the time of day, they're giving Disney some advice. And when China, of all places, is calling you out on your bullshit, man, it is really time to sit down and just reevaluate everything you're doing, okay? When you got China calling you out and saying, man, you guys got to stop pushing all of this racism out here, okay? What's wrong with y'all, Disney? It's like, China, what are y'all talking about? Man, you gotta love it when China's calling y'all out for pushing a racism narrative. And they're not wrong, okay? That's the crazy thing about it. Like, yeah, they're not wrong. China, we've been telling these cats this, okay? Stop pushing the racism narrative around the fairy tales, okay? Just tell stories. Look, hear what they said, man. They claim Disney's decision to cast a person of color as the lead in The Little Mermaid seemingly was made to break stereotypes and promote equality, but so far the negative reactions outweigh the positive ones. Yep. This begs the question of whether Disney's political correctness actions are motivated by capital interests or genuine concern for representation. Yep. The controversy surrounding Disney's forced inclusion of minorities in classic films is not about racism, but its lazy and irresponsible storytelling strategy. Yep. If the company truly wants to represent marginalized groups, why not create original stories that reflect their experiences instead of turning classic tales into sacrificial lambs for political correctness? These cats have been watching my channel, man. And a lot of other people say this, but I'm just tripping off of this like, damn. When China is calling you out to the carpet and China is 100% right, it's time to reevaluate, Disney. It's time to just, hey, we got to sit down and go back to the drawing board because China is right, okay? They're wrong about a whole lot of other shit, but they hella right about this. I mean, good God, man, this is absolutely hilarious. I mean, look at this. When the beautiful stories that have accompanied countless children's childhoods become arenas for racial conflict, they lose their meaning and become devoid of romance and fantasy, replaced by arguments about skin color. Like, what the hell is going on? Man, we are truly in clown world, man. Up is right, left is down. China is telling Disney off, okay? Good Lord. If Disney continues following this path, audiences, especially innocent children, will no longer care if the prince and princess live happily ever after, but what is the skin color of the prince and princess? And the fairy tale will lose its magic glory, the Global Times concluded. Man, again, that's sad. They calling y'all out straight to your face. And look, this is a country that Disney bends over backwards for, okay? Bend over back, touch your toes. What do you need today, China? Okay? And China's telling y'all, all right? Wouldn't it be hilarious if Disney started cutting all of this BS out just to please China? Nah, we ain't listening to Americans, okay? But we sure as hell gonna listen to China. Man, that would be hilarious, man. But you know what? Disney is a dying company at this point. They're just in so much hot water, all right? I think we're about to see a huge downturn in Disney and everything that they own, all right? I think that's where we're heading right now. I have a feeling Little Mermaid is gonna be all right, okay? Like the sisters especially, man, they are going to be showing up in droves with a whole bevy of children, all right? They're going to be dragging all the kids to come and check this thing out because they're going to support Halle to the fullest, all right? I can tell you, I know black women, they are going to support Halle Bailey to the absolute fullest, okay? And so, yeah, it's going to be heavy in America, I think, just because of that contingency of people. They're going to go out and see it domestically, all right? I don't know how it's going to do overseas. It's not looking so hot overseas. But, yeah, we'll see how it does. But anyway, folks, what do y'all think about this situation? Will the phony word of mouth, okay, that's out there from IMDb and from Rotten Tomatoes, will that be enough to bring this thing home? You guys go ahead, jump down in the comments, leave me your thoughts and suggestions about that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.